Whether it's off the tee with your driver or even with an iron, slicing a ball and knowing you'll never get it back is one of the worst feelings in the world. Trust me, I know my natural swing is a fade, and depending on the day, I'm slicing it up more. More than someone at a deli counter. It wasn't until I learned how my body affects my swing and incorporating specific drills into my regular training that helped me stop slicing. I mean, let's get real. Stop slicing is relative. I wanted to share with you the exact things that I learned about the body and show you the exact moves that I'm doing in my training on the regular that help me with my slice. The most common swing characteristic we see with golfers who slice is an over-the-top swing path. It essentially means that you're coming down over the top of your ideal swing path. Typically, people describe it as an out-to-in swing path. Now, you can still have an out-to-in swing path and hit the ball straight and not slice it. That's not the problem. What usually the problem is, though, most slicers, we find that their club face is open relative to their swing path. With that out-to-in swing path, the club is coming in this way, but the club face is open. So you can imagine if this is coming this way and this is going like that, that's going to put a lot of side spin on the ball. And at high speeds and going that way, it's going to just keep turning and turning and turning, which is what results in that slice. Now, you may or may not know this, but your body may actually be the reason as to why you're swinging over the top. The first and probably the most common that I see in most amateur golfers is the inability to move your hips independently from your upper body. So when we're making that transition from the top of our backswing into our downswing, that should start with our hips and our lower body. If you have a hard time being able to do that, a lot of people's tendency is to come and swing over the top. The first few drills that we're going to go over is going to help you start the downswing with your lower body and your hips. All you need is a golf club, a PVC pipe, a broom. Doesn't really matter what it is, just something sturdy to hold out in front of you. This is basically a sequence of the same drill, just in different positions. We're going to go from the easiest to the hardest. So we're going to start with our feet together, and all we're going to do is we're going to press down on the club in front of us. I'm just going to work on rotating our hips just like so. So we're rotating right, we're rotating left, we're going relatively slow, and we're going as far as we possibly can. To go to the next progression, all we're going to do is just spread our feet. Our feet are now pretty much directly underneath us, about hip to shoulder width apart. Nothing else changes in this drill. Try to keep your upper body as still as possible as you're doing this drill. This is just teaching your body how to rotate around your hips and utilize those muscles around your core. Once we're done with that and you're feeling pretty proficient there, now we're going to go ahead and get into golf posture. Same thing, pressing down on the object that's in front of us, and now we're rotating our hips both ways. Initially, when you're doing this drill, really focus on good quality movement. Go nice and slow and as far as you can, trying to keep your upper body as still as you possibly can. As you get more proficient, take pressure off your hands and increase the speed. The second most common body limitation that contributes to an over-the-top swing path is lack of core stability. In the golf swing, we're supposed to maintain our posture all the way through our backswing, all the way up into impact. And if we lack that core stability, that may force us to stand up in our swing and lose posture. That's just going to force us to over-rotate, especially with our upper body, because our lower body is not in an ideal position to rotate efficiently. One of the best ways to train your core is exactly what it does in the golf swing, and that is resist motion. First one that we're going to do is going to work on resisting side bending. What we're going to do is a suitcase carry, so you need a relatively heavy object, whether that's a kettlebell, a dumbbell, or a bag full of books or other heavy objects. You're going to hold that heavy object on one side of your body and you're going to slowly walk. The big keys when we're performing this drill is that we're standing up nice and tall. We're not rounding our back. We're also not arching our low back. And lastly, we're not letting that weight pull us over to the side. So we're standing up nice and tall. However, we're also not overcorrecting by tilting the other way. Just standing up nice and tall, you should really feel the opposite side working during this drill. The next drill that we're going to do is going to work on resisting rotation. All you need is a band or a cable column set up anywhere between chest and belly button height. We're going to step away from that anchor point, and with our feet about hip width apart in a nice athletic stance, bring the handles to midway of your body in line with your belly button, and then all we're going to do is push the band away. As we're pushing away, keep our hands and the handle in line with the middle of our body as you push away, it's going to want to pull you back towards the anchor point, and you're going to resist that. So really make sure that the only thing that's moving here are your arms out and away from your chest. This next drill that we're going to be doing is going to resist that forward and backward bending of our spine. To do that, we're going to go ahead and get down on the ground. For this drill, what we're going to be doing is a reverse plank. So we're going to start with our feet together. Our hands are just behind our hips here. Our fingers are pointing towards our feet. We're going to go ahead and squeeze our butt and our backside and lift up off of the ground so that our body is in a straight line all the way from our ankles up to our head. But make sure when you're doing this drill that your hips don't slowly fall down towards the ground. Keep squeezing, keep pressing up towards the ceiling as best as you can. You should really feel like your hamstrings, the backs of your thighs, and your glutes are really working to keep your hips up off of the ground. One of the other major issues amateur golfers deal with is inconsistent shots. If that's you, I highly recommend you check this video out. And depending on the day, oh God.